Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of the Dream Alchemist. I am your host, Crystal Lauren, and in this episode, um, I have been pushed by my spirit guides to discuss this and feel like there is someone out there that needs to hear this message. And this is for those of you that deal with people, loved ones that have mental illness. And I all know so very well what you are going through because me, myself, have a mother that has mental illness and have dealt with her illness in a strong way. It was always there probably when I was younger, but it wasn't as bad until I turned to like 19 years old. I am 51 now, so we are going into over 30 years of experiencing a parent with mental illness. Now, if you are listening to this, if you found this video, then it was definitely meant for you to hear this message, and it has been put on my heart to share my story and to bring you a healing energy as you go through this journey with your loved one. Now, my journey started, like I said, where it really hit heavy was when I was 19 years old, and my mother, I was at work and I got a call from a relative saying that to come home because my mother wasn't well. Something happened. I came home and loved ones was at the house, and I think it was my little brother that he was at home with her. My brother is 10 years younger than me, and I was 19, so 10 years younger than me. He was, 9? And my mother had taken some pills and was trying to commit suicide. And coming home and seeing her, in the state that she was in, from that point on is where my journey with my mother's mental illness began. And if you can, the scene coming home, seeing her in that state is so vivid, 30 years ago. I can just only imagine what my little brother felt. And I already know what he feels based on what he's dealing with now. I would say that is probably the moment that he actually lost my mother. And he's been longing for her nurturing probably ever since. So if anyone is listening to this, maybe this happened to you at the age of 9 or earlier, or maybe it happened to you, as a teenager. Me and my sister are a year and a half apart. She was away at college, and I would say that my brother probably got the brunt of the effect because he was so young. But I would definitely say that being daughters, not having that mother to rear you into womanhood in that age bracket, that's when before then, yes, she was there, but not fully emotionally there, I would say. which makes sense now. But she never was that lovey, huggy, say I love you mother. But a lot of times in our in the black community, that is not that's seen as normal. It's acceptable, and it's just what it is. It is what it is. Some families are like that. Some, but I did have it, experience that through my dad's side of the family. He was not like that, but my grandmother was like that. Um, we had family gatherings where we expressed love with each other, so it was not like it was not there. It wasn't like I didn't think my mother didn't love me. Um, but at the age of 19 is the time where you are like really you're really becoming a woman. You really are um, needing that womanly influence, that feminine, divine. You're needing that energy from someone, and um, that is something that I never got. That feminine, divine energy. Um, so that was at 19, and through the years, I would say that me and my sister, um, on and off, have had to be concerned about my mother's well-being or my father's well-being, because he turned to drugs during this period, which was probably contributed to my mother's mental illness elevating, and maybe due to stresses of whatever life brought him, he turned to drugs. And so that from that moment on to, oh my goodness, well, with my mother, it's still going on. It's a still ongoing battle of dealing with different situations, with her, you know, with that energy of a person that has mental illness. It was not, so and when I was 19, I was what, 19, I was born in 70, so 1970, I'm sorry, 1989, that was the year. From 1989, my mother didn't get she had got diagnosed with like bipolar, been in and out of hospitals, but it was not until 2006 that she was finally diagnosed with schizophrenia. Through those years, she avoided going to hospitals and getting any more treatment with her earlier mental illness diagnosis. So she had a great amount of time of going untreated, which probably caused it to elevate to schizophrenia. So that's why it is very important when you have, if you have a child that is in their adolescence that may be experiencing some other mental illnesses diagnosis, that they get treatment. Now, the treatment, what I've come to learn on my spiritual journey, which I wish I would have had then, but I don't think it was meant for me to get it then, or I wouldn't have been able to tell the story that I'm telling now, and I would not be able to help people get through what they're going through with their mentally ill loved one. Now, I'm going to tell a story about an incident with my mother. It's so many. It's so many between me, because my mother has lived with me, my sister, um, my brother, when he was younger. where we've experienced in our adulthood, just so many situations that was scary, we didn't know what was going to happen, where our energy was sucked, the life was sucked out of us through the energy of someone with mental illness. And that's what I want to talk about, is the spiritual side of this, because as we were young adults like that, we went to the church, and the church couldn't help us, or they didn't even try, really, to be honest with you. Christianity, we've prayed, we've did a lot of things to in regards to my mother, to get through the challenges of my mother's mental illness and situations. I'm sure God definitely answered some of our prayers, but I think it still caused some injury, even more injury, to the wounds that we received from this. Okay, and spiritually, I think that it takes a little bit more than what the church offers, depending on that church and how that church teaches and what they teach, and things of that sort. I don't think a church can really prepare a person to deal with a mentally ill loved one. So that's why you see, or a mentally ill person, period. I don't think that is a spiritual thing that you need help with dealing with. You need your ancestors to help you deal with that. You need your higher self. You need your spirit guides. You need whatever it is that you call upon to assist you with that, and whatever that is to help you deal with it. I can definitely honestly say that it takes a lot of, that's something that you have to heal from. You're going through it for a purpose, for a life purpose, and you definitely must heal that wound, because it is a deep wound that can help you heal or kill you, depending on how you handle it. And I am so thankful that I began going down a spiritual journey outside of Christianity that really helped me in a strong way. Meditation was the beginning of it all, and then just going further beyond that and learning about energy, your energy, how to stay in alignment, how to protect your energy, how to just channel things that can get you through situations, because we're all going to go through some things, but how you get through those things is your power. Okay, that's your power. And right now, if you are in a situation where you have a mentally ill loved one, whether it's parents or your children, those are the most close-knit ones. When it's like your uncle or your aunt, unless you live with them, or they're responsible for you, or you're responsible for them, then that's different. Or a grandparent that's responsible for you, or you're responsible for them, then that's that. But parents and children is the most devastating relationship when it comes to mental illness. Or a spouse. Let me not leave that out. A spouse is another devastating relationship that can be heart-wrenching to deal with, because this person that you love is not the person that is themselves. So that means at some point you knew them in another light and they became someone else. It's almost like they disappeared and someone else came into their body. And I'm going to tell you, it took about close to this 30 years for me to realize, well, even I'm not going to even say that, because I remember when I was like maybe 25, 26, somewhere in there, 27, I wrote a poem about my mother, and it was like, when will you come back to me? Or where are you? I can't even remember the name of it. It was like I said, it's over. I'm 51 now, so I was in my early 20s, mid 20s when I wrote this poem, and it was in that moment that I really felt my mother was gone. And from even then until I'm gonna say I turned 50, that I came to the conclusion, I'm gonna say 49, that my mother is gone. And even after then, I still was looking for her to come back. And it is a hard pill to swallow when you lose a loved one to mental illness. Um, some people lose their parents, lose their body. They lose them physically, but they have that spiritual essence of them if they know how to really accept that, because you want your parents to be there physically, but if they're not there mentally either, it's really like the same thing. And a lot of people that lost their parents physically, um, you know, they feel like, well, at least you have them physically, not if you don't have them emotionally or mentally or spiritually. You don't have them. Your parents can leave you physically, but you still have them spiritually. When your parent is lost in mental illness, where their body is there, but they're not in their body. Their spirit is in, I guess you call purgatory. Purgatory. They're in between. They're like in this body still, but something has taken over their body. Their mind, their spirit, everything is gone. Everything is gone. So if you can relate to that, having a parent that is mentally ill is almost like they died. Especially, and you may say there, it's hope that they will get their medicine and take their medicine and be normal again. But when they do, and then they stop again taking their medicine, it's like they died all over again. It's like someone that has had a parent. A perfect example is someone that grew up in foster care. They lost their parents in foster care, and their parents came to see them to try to get them back, and they tried and tried, but they never actually did the work fully to get them back. Or a parent that a father that was there, but he wasn't always there. He came to visit sometime, but didn't come all the time. And he came and you thought everything was going to be back to normal, and then he went back to his old ways. It is the exact same thing. Is that when your parent has mental illness, they stop taking they're normal when they take their medication, and then they're not normal. They're gone when they decide to stop. And over a 30-year period, my mother has done this countless times. And at what point if you hold on to the hope of she will be back to normal again one day, hoping for that, that's an energy you're you're holding on to because you're waiting for it to happen. And then it happens, and then then it happens again. As time go on, as your parent is getting older, I can see if your mother started that when she was young, and then maybe in her 40s, then things turned around, because it can happen. It definitely can happen where they go through this and then they get to a point where they stay. There's people that have their parents that they get mental illness, they take their medicine, and they're perfect, or whatever they do. Maybe they don't take the pharmaceutical drugs. Maybe they do alternative medicines to help them. But and then they're good. But then there's those, this is for those who have those loved ones that have been struggling with this for years, and their parent is getting older and worn down, and you see them fighting for their lives mentally, fighting demons, fighting negative energy, fighting for their lives because they feel like someone is out to get them and their loved ones. You see them, it's like almost watching someone with cancer that is deteriorating. And those of you that have seen loved ones die of cancer, and you see them get to this point right before death to where they're like a shell of a person, you would not want to see your loved one just be that shell. You would not want to see them just be that shell and not be there. You would not want them to suffer like that. So that's agonizing of itself, but you still don't want to let them go. So that in itself is something that not only do they need to heal, but you need to heal from the trauma of it all. You need to do your own work, healing work, to get past that, to heal from that trauma, because that's a traumatic experience. Seeing your parent deal with mental illness is a very traumatic experience. And the Black community, makes jokes, and they don't take mental illness as they do cancer, because cancer kills the physical body. Mental illness kills the spiritual and the mental body. Okay? And the Black community in itself has shunned mental illness in a way to where it is made uncomfortable to even to where you may feel resentful about your parent having mental illness. I mean, you have guilt, you have shame, you have resentment, you have moments where you and your siblings may laugh just to get through, laugh at things that your parent or child has done, or a spouse has done to get you through it. You may tell jokes like, remember mama did this, or remember daddy did this, or whatever. You make jokes just to get through, because that's quote unquote okay for jokes to be made about people with mental illness. Okay? It is not taken serious enough in the Black community. It is not taken serious enough. So much so that it's getting a whole lot better now. With so many people kind of, waking up to the experience of it and accepting that you have some mental illness that needs to be dealt with, whether it's just anxiety or depression or panic attacks or bipolar or whatever it is. You feel so uncomfortable talking about it to people. So uncomfortable when you talk about how is your mother doing, how is your father doing, how is your son doing when it comes to that, because it's not treated the same as a physical ailment at all. And people kind of look at you in a certain type of way, like, where did your mama get that from? Where did your daddy get that from? Where did your child get that from? People make stupid ass comments like that. And nobody say that when somebody get cancer. Like, where do you get that from? Where did you get that cancer from? Where did you get that from? Nobody say that. People only ask those dumbass questions when it comes to mental illness. Like, it is like you're cursed. Like, who you get that from? Did you get it from your mama side of the family, or your daddy? You didn't get that from us. It's like, that is so disrespectful. So this what I'm doing right now is just speaking my truth right now, which my ancestors have been pushing me to do, because it needs to be done. It needs to be done. You don't have anybody that you can talk to about what the heck you're going through with a parent with mental illness. It is very painful and debilitating and unsettling when you can't talk to anybody about it. When you don't have anybody outside of your loved ones that is dealing with it with you. When you can't, get people to just really understand it. And it definitely needs to be, us as a people, it should be no surprise that our people get mental illness. It doesn't even matter where it came from. It could come from generations on back from slavery. It can come from anywhere. It does not even matter. Does it matter where it came from? Why does it matter where it came from? And I think us as a people need to do a little bit better with catering to those who are dealing with it and helping them deal with it, because you have no idea of the pain that they are experiencing watching their loved one not there over and over and over and over again. For me, this is how I see it. If my mother was to leave this earth right in the state of mind that she's in right now with her mental illness, I feel that she would be in a better place, because right now she is fighting the devil, the demons. She's fighting for her life right now. Constantly. She's been fighting for her life for at least 30 years. And it may have even started way before then. She has been fighting for her life since then. Imagine fighting for your spirit self for at least 30 years. Imagine that. Your physical health, your body, you're out of your body. It's the same thing, and people need to wake up and realize that, and know that if you get a little tinge of any mental illness, that you should not care about being shunned. And that is the problem with mental illness, and why people with mental illness don't want to get the help or be looked at as having mental illness, because they're looked at as crazy. That's why they don't want to get the help, is because of how the world, society looks at them. And that is embedded in them. Okay? Back through generations, if something was wrong with you mentally, you got a touch of crazy. You got a demon in you. You got this in you. It's always been looked at very badly and not as a real health issue. So you people, the people out there listening to this, I hope this message brings so many people this message to them. Just know that what you must do to get through this is heal yourself first. Heal yourself first. Your priority is, you're probably trying to help your parent and care for them and love them and do whatever you can for them, but inside you're dying. Inside you're cutting yourself. You're cutting yourself with a knife in your heart. You're creating more wounds on top of wounds, and you need to heal your own wounds first. You need to learn how to heal your wounds so you can experience healing energy that you can give out to that loved one, send out to that loved one, send out to others going through the same thing, through your whoever else is going through it with you. Send out that healing energy. One way that has helped me do that is connecting with ancestors. Like I said, I started off with meditation and just going down a spiritual journey outside of just Christianity, because just Christianity was not doing it for me. Our churches that I've been to was not teaching things to me. I always knew they weren't teaching the correct things. It was something they were leaving out, and none of it was bringing me the knowledge needed to heal myself, where I can help heal other people. It wasn't teaching me my power, It was more such of a judgment and punishment and fear. It embraced more of that than anything. Not to say that all churches do that in Christianity, but the ones that I've been to did. So that's what led me to seek out other things to learn about spirituality, healing, getting me through things. And the connecting with the ancestors did not come about until after my grandmother died, and she came to me in my dreams on numerous occasions to get my attention, that she was there for me and she was going to help me do something. She poured into me literally in the dream. I've always been a vivid dreamer. Always dream every night, all night. That was always me, and it used to be agonizing in itself, because back before meditation there used to be a lot of bad dreams. I used to dream of like spirits hovering over me or something coming through my window, and that was before I started my spiritual journey. But I always had vivid dreams, so I knew it was through dreams that spirits would speak through me. I did not know that then, but when my grandmother died and she came into my dreams, and she basically in the dream spewed water out of her mouth onto me. So she was pouring into me, she was cleansing me, she was showing me that she was there to do some work with me. And other dreams that I've had with other ancestors that passed away came into my dreams to let me, to show me like, hey, you the person, we telling you, we talking to you. and the fact that I always dream about my family members, I have dreams, countless dreams about family members and people that are very close to me. I have dreams about them all the time, and it's not always bad dreams. It's not bad dreams. But they're in my dreams. So that's when I knew that I needed to strengthen my connection with my ancestors, and I needed to really dig into healing and using my spiritual gifts to help other people. And most definitely in the area of mental illness, I always shied away from really telling my story about my mother and some of my father, although he's not doing the drugs anymore, but yeah, I kind of didn't want to talk about it. And it took a long time for me to be able to do that. And it wasn't, I'm going to say, until I turned 50 that, I started opening up more to do so. I felt more comfortable with doing it. So I would say my spiritual awakening took place then, is when I knew that I needed to do it for my own sanity. So I encourage you guys that have a loved one that you are that has mental illness, or whatever form or fashion that you have to deal with them, how you're dealing with them, whatever emotional struggle that you're dealing with in regards to them. With my mother, imagine it's kind of harder when it's your parent and your parent is doing things where you become the mother. That's happened early on in my life, where I felt like I became the mother of my mother, because I always was worried about her well-being, whether she was going to get kicked out of where she lived, where was she going to go, was she going to keep her job, what is she doing now, is she going to go to jail? And then your mother living with you, and you're the one that is the head of the household, and she's trying to run your household in a way that is not healthy. It is so hard to treat your mother like a child when they have mental illness, when they're doing things that you're like, where you're not wanting them to take over your life. You have to keep your own sanity, your own life going, while you're still trying to make sure that your mother is okay and she's not listening to you because you're the child and she's the mother. So, but when you have a child, if you have a child that's like that, and they're still living in your household, and they're adults and they're kind of feeling themselves like, I'm grown now, you can't tell me what to do, then you're struggling with that fight. Or they have their own place and you're worried about how long they're going to have that place, or what are they going to do next, or when is this going to come back into my energy space. And it's almost like you can't live your life because you have that hanging over you. I know exactly what you are going through, and you really have to focus on yourself. I promise you, it will kill you if you don't. It's been many a times I did not want to be here anymore because of my mother. And then because of that, just that alone, but I have a child that needs me. So that always stopped me. And I knew I needed to be there for my parent. I couldn't do that to them because they needed me, and I know my child needed me. But it can put you in a very dark place to where you can't handle things anymore. And there's so many people committing suicide for different things where they don't want to be here anymore. And it is not, they might not have mental illness, but they're dealing with someone with a mental illness, or they do have mental illness and they have something going on with them that needs healing. You have something going on with you that needs healing spiritually, to where you do want to be here. You know why you should be here, and you know what you should be giving to the world and fulfilling to you. It's so important that you concentrate on self-care and self-love to the fullest. So please do so. please do so, guys. If you hear some stuff in the background, my dad is in the other room talking to his sister who's in the hospital, but please forgive me. So that is it. That is all. I'm going to leave this here right now because it's going to get louder. He's going to start working around the house and making, talking loud. So right now I do live with my dad. I mean, you guys, I'm going to bring more content in regards to this, but thanks for listening. I hope this was helpful. Make sure you subscribe to this channel if you want to hear more. You can follow me on Instagram at Crystal Herbal Creations, and follow my website, crystalherbalcreations.com, which is below, where you can check out all of the information that I share. All right. Thank you, and have a wonderful day, evening, night, wherever you are listening to this. Bye-bye.